Hello and welcome everyone to another Dwarf Fortress episode. Now we are going to pick up where we left off last time, and we are going to strike the earth and see if we can't delve ourselves some secure lodgings. So let's start by surveilling the area a bit. So we'll zoom out a bit and have a look. Okay. So we can see there's quite a lot of trees out here, and then we go up a bit, we can see, okay, that's a peninsula over there, and even more trees, and a small hill. Okay, that's interesting. When I usually set out, I usually like to take a place which is more or less inside of soil. This is soil, the red and yellow, and sometimes grey is the soil, and I like digging in it because then you don't get rocks that get in the way of your buildings and so on. So I think we are going to start by digging here. It's rather close to the river, and it should be quite possible for caravans to then arrive here, I think. At least they will if we clear a few trees. But yes, I think we shall dig here. So in order to dig, you just click D 2 times for designation and then for mine. And I will want to mine out a more or less 3 by 3 area here into the mountain this way. Also, I will mine away in this because I don't like having it at the front door. Let's try that again. Oh, it's soil. Okay, never mind then. There we go. There we go. Okay, and there's a tree in the way, so we'll chop that down. So, you can start by designating a bit of a tunnel for you to dig in. I usually take a 3 wide because that's plenty enough for caravans and all the traffic that you will eventually have going through the fortress. So that should be plenty enough space. After you have designated something to mine, you'll want to designate a few trees to be chopped down, so we have wood to work with. So we're going to just chop down all of these here, so they have something to do, like that. There we go. Okay, there we go. And then I will also tell them to gather plants. There should be some plants around here that they can gather up. No, I'll not. Okay, well, maybe down here I will just pick a big area and try and swoop. There you go. So they'll pick the plants and we'll get food from that, and the dwarves will not starve before we manage to get our farms up and running. Okay, what else would you want to do before you unpause for the first time? Well, I am going to actually remove these ramps because I don't like having them close to my entrance. It's just a thing. It's not something you have to do. You can start by just digging into the mountain. Yes, we are going to dig a bit more. It's usually also a good idea to dig out a 5 by 5 quite close to the entrance. This is so you can build a trade depot later, and then all the traders or caravans that come to your fortress will be able to unload their goods, and you will be able to trade and barter your goods and so on. And it's usually very good because you won't be able to produce everything you need, so you require outside help or trading. So we're going to dig that. After that, I am going to dig a bit of a more corridor this way, more or less like that, and then I usually designate a pile or a room here to be dug out. This will be my storeroom, so I can move everything underneath the ground. And eventually it will probably become some sort of a guard room or something when you move everything further down into the fortress. But for now that will suffice. Then I usually dig something like this, and this is just for defense purposes. So all the traffic will be coming this way, and then they will be shuffled through this narrow corridor here, or door, and then they will go into the stairs here, which I'm going to dig down by clicking J and then going down like that. So they are going to dig out stairs going downwards, so we can delve further into the fortress. That should be fine for now, and that should be plenty enough work. As it is soil, it should not take them too long to get through it. But I think we can now unpause for the first time and let the dwarves start doing their thing. Also, it is apparently raining. That should not be a problem. So they will come and start digging out these blinking tiles first, and there they go, chopping down trees. Should be this 3 maybe, which will then fall as soon as he is ready, I think. Yeah, there you go. It's brilliant, this game, really. When I started playing, they only had trees that were 1 sea level high, i.e. they didn't go up like this with the tree branches and everything, so it's brilliant. I really think that's a neat little feature. It really adds to depth to the game without really much effort. I think it's just brilliant. Okay, so they are more or less starting to dig out, and we are getting some tree or wood. So I think it's time for us to start building a carpenter workshop, and so we can start building beds that the dwarves will then need to be able to live underground. You can also use stone to build what they need. However, in order to build beds, you will be using wood, and that's really the only difference. You can build more or less everything with either wood or stone, as you want. However, they prefer stone, and beds can only be made from wood, so there's something to take into consideration there. And also I think it is slightly easier to get access to wood, but that's really your personal preference. Maybe you don't have wood on your map, then you will have to trade or bring with you, so you can build beds so they don't have to sleep on the ground. But okay, to build the building, we will start by clicking B for building, then W for workshop, and then we can see here that carpenter workshop is C. So we're going to place it down here, like so, and then we can choose the material we want to build it from. We can even choose a specific piece of wood if you want to. This is really awesome, but I'm going to choose pine logs. That's going to be fine. Oops. There we go. And now soon, if we click Q, we can see that okay, it's waiting for construction, so someone is going to come here and build the shop that is a carpenter, which is they build their own shops that they need because they know how to build them. Also, I think we had a fisher with us, so we are going to designate a zone for him to fish in. And to do that, we will click zones, which is I, and we're going to place it on top here of the river and some of these small ponds. It's going to make it as big as possible, I think. Let's make it slightly bigger so we can get the river along. So there we go. That's a bit of a zone, and then we can designate it to be a fishing spot by clicking F. That should be fine and plenty. We can also designate it as a sand and clay area, why not? So they have some place to pick that up. Okay, so let's place that, and now they will go and fish there if we have any fisher dwarfs. And they are digging out, getting along with that. I'm actually going to designate another room here. Dug out, I think that will be plenty, and I'm going to place it here with again 2 openings. That's actually wrong, it's supposed to look like that. There we go. And that's where I'm going to put the the beds and tables and all the things they will need to survive in the beginning before we delve deeper and build rooms for them, so they'll survive underneath the ground. And also at this time I think I am going to build a trade depot, which is again B for building and then double or shift D for trade depot, and I'm going to place it here, and as you see it fits. It's going to need 3 wood. That's fine. So they're going to build that, and then traders should be able to come in and barter their goods, and we will be able to trade what we don't have. Okay, so the carpentry workshop looks ready, so now we can click Q to designate or choose the building, and we can see okay, it is ready, and we can add tasks to it so they can build things. So we'll click A for add new task, and we can go down the list looking for what we want, and I want beds, so I'm going to just select beds to let them create beds, and I'm going to add a few more by clicking A and B in succession like this. I am pretty certain that it's 10, that is maximum at one time we can have in the carpentry workshop, and he's going to go there and build them, and then they are going to be stored in a stockpile. After a while you will get access to a job manager list in which you can just say build 30 beds, and then the game will allocate the order to a carpentry workshop that is free, and the game will sort of take care of this micromanagement, so you don't have to hunt down your carpentry workshop all the time when you get a big fortress. So that is nice. Okay, so it looks like they are getting ready with the room here. That is good. Hopefully they clear it all out. Sometimes they really choose weirdly how to dig. That's fine. Okay, good. So let's pause here, and I'm going to put down a what's it called? Stockpile. Yes, stockpile. So by clicking P, I can then select. Let's see. I want a custom stockpile actually, so I'm going to designate this stockpile to be almost everything. So that's going to furniture, ammo, coins, bars and blocks, gems, finished goods, leather, cloth, sure, wood, weapons and armor, and why not bring in the food as well. So they will basically bring in everything here into this stockpile, so it doesn't have to be outside and be afraid of being eaten by wild animals or something like that. So whenever they have idle dwarves, they will pick up something from the wagon here and bring it down into the stockpile, into the safekeeping. Also, I do believe we got some oxen or something. No, we got cows. Yeah, cows, that's fine. So they will need somewhere to stray, so you don't have to keep them in check. So in order to keep them in an area to have them graze and eat and be fine with it, you will click I again for zones. So we're going to designate a zone here with water so they can drink. Going to choose this area here and make it quite large because they are going to eat quite a lot of grass. I'm then going to designate this area as a pen and pasture, and I'm going to set pen and pasture information, and I'm going to say that the jack cow and 2-humped camel, which we apparently have, are going to go here and well, simply go there and eat. So there we go, we place that. Okay, and now a few dwarfs will sooner or later bring the animals there, and they will stay within that zone, so you know where you have them in case you need milk, or you need to shear them for wool, or you need to butcher them or something like that. So you have them in one spot basically. And now the dwarves are digging out the living quarters. That is good, and the carpenter is hard at work. This is going to take quite a while for them to move in all the materials. Actually, I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to change the setting and remove the wood because that's just going to take them too long, I think, with that much wood. I'm going to let them bring in all the finished goods, all the food, so you have it there and they will have easy access to it once they all get inside. Also, quite a common strategy in this game is to well, not common strategy, but if you start in a much more much more dangerous landscape. There are evil landscape, for instance, where everything wants to kill you, even the plants. And there comes poisonous gas and poisonous rain and all sorts of things. So then it could be an idea to just dig in a bit, take all you need in, or as much as you can carry, into the fortress, seal it off, and then you just stay inside the fortress and are more or less self-sustained in there. No one will be able to get in and murder you. I've done that a few times. It works, sure. And you can then get wood lower down into the from the caverns where there grows wood. So you don't have to worry about that. However, you won't get caravans, obviously, unless you are willing to open the front gate. Okay, fine. Now I don't like the look of this, and it's just because I want it to look good. So I'm going to actually go here and designate this to be dug out, so we get a more coherent appearance of the fortress. Okay, so now this is dug out. Good, meaning that as soon as the beds are enabled, I can actually check that by clicking B again, and bed is then B, so I click that and I place it here, and then I can choose which bed I want to place. I want to place the applewood beds, thank you. I place another one and I'll place them in here so that the dwarves will then be able to sleep and recuperate, and as long as they have beds and don't have to sleep on the ground, they are happier and less likely to throw temper tantrums and other bad things. Which is why beds are quite a high priority. Another high priority would be, I'd say, farms, because we want to get the food industry going as soon as possible, so we don't have to rely on gathering plants and so on. But we can actually check how we're doing with that by clicking Z. So here we get a rough estimate, because dwarves are not very good at counting apparently. So we get around, okay, we have around 300 food and about 90 alcohol. That should be fine for a few months before the dwarves start being annoyed about it and start throwing temper tantrums and so on. However, we will have to start brewing drinks and growing crops as soon as possible. Also, at this point, I think we can put one of the dwarves as a bookkeeper, so we can get more accurate count. Basically, what this does is he then spends most of his time keeping track of all the things in your fortress, so we will know precisely where everything is, how much you have of everything, and those question marks will disappear and you'll know the precise amount. So to do that, we'll click N for nobles, because they are nobles and everyone likes the nobles, or not. So we'll go to bookkeeper and we'll look here, and there we go. The clerk is an adequate record keeper, and Katzen Alakdukim will now be our record keeper. So we'll assign him. He will require something. We can see what he needs. Okay, he needs a meager office. Okay, so he'll get that in a time after a while, and once he gets that, he will start keeping track of all the items in our store, or in our storerooms and stockpiles and so on, and we'll be able to go from the Z view or the status view and look up anything we want. We can look up the animals, we can look up all of those things. So let's see how much they have left here. Okay, so I think it's T to see what's inside. Yes. Okay, so you can see here that, okay, they are tasked doing that, and there's quite a lot of things left. We brought a lot of things, and specifically all these barrels, which are good to bring. Also, I think I'm going to designate this wagon to be removed. You get 3 wood from that. So once they have pulled everything from the wagon into the stockpile, they should then destroy the wagon and take the wood and put it into a stockpile or someplace. Okay, but now it appears that the miners have nothing to do, so I'm going to designate actually. Actually, you know what? I think this is quite a good place to take a break. So I'm going to put an stop in the episode here, and when we come back next time, I think we might be doing some crops or something like that. I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you and bye bye.